Into the ropes and off. A flying tackle by and a drop kick.
10 pounds of pure gold.
Got to hold this just a minute. You want a little bit more?
I'm the real heavyweight champion.
That'd be the best of me. More to me than anything I've ever done in wrestling.
They call this the 10 pounds of gold. The championship has existed in its current proper form since 19.
Canvas pretty hard, and look at Buddy going to work now. Oh!
Hey everybody, it's Durger time, and thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Billy Corgan's NWA here on TEW 2020. We had a pretty good power, started up a bunch of new storylines, some of them not fully new, some of them just continuations, some of them not fully implemented yet, but pretty solid show overall. We're still kind of maintaining the status quo a little bit. We need something bigger, something better, but I think eventually we'll get there. Right now, we are precariously close to losing money. We'll see what happens this month, but I think we're going to be still fine. We're not growing in revenue, but you know, that is what it is. We have two tournaments that we're running: the Big Rig Memorial Tournament for Brody Lee, and of course, finishing off our Circle Squared. Now, I need to look. Because last time I was about to end it, but everyone was working. Yes, okay, so Chris Brooks, Mike O'Moran, Bill. So, on Tuesday, they're all working. Now, if you don't know how this works for availability, basically, if the show is bigger than you, they're going to go there instead. And I believe DDT and probably not PWG, but definitely CMLL are all bigger than us. So, they will take precedence for the booking opportunity. I kind of need Microman for something, even just for an episode or two. But I don't need Pentagon right now, which just sounds crazy because Pentagon's probably one of our best workers. But for now, I don't necessarily need him. So these poor fans are just I feel like every other week the show's on a new night. they have to get instant like Twitter updates of like what week, what day is Power on this week, and like, it might be Thursday, it might be Friday. Well, we'll air it Thursday. Oh, we don't want to do tomorrow night though. There'll be two shows in a row. So let's go back to Tuesday. We'll just sim forward a little bit, and then we'll set it to Thursday. All right, we are here on the new week, and finally, that young upstart Shawn Michaels getting his shot in WWE got called up from NXT. This is why I don't do that NXT show anymore, because the call-ups and the way the system is set up is completely broken. Unfortunately, it just doesn't make any sense, doesn't work. New storylines, anything in the world that we would want to know about? Mischief is retiring? No, not really. Kevin Eric retires. Sheamus went to AEW for a day. Does the retirement of Kevin Von Erich mean he's no longer... What can you do now? Are you still a manager? You just can't work as a wrestler. Well, that's certainly fine. I'd rather you be a road agent and be a manager for your kids. So that's not an issue in the slightest. The fact that he was working at all is kind of bizarre for his age, but you know, wrestling's weird. Okay, so we have to set and change this to Thursday, and that should give us opportunity. Up in 5 days, we should be good to go. So all things considered, we should be a-okay to just get the show started and get running, and I think we'll be fine. So let's go ahead and let's get on to the show. Okay, so Sheamus was out alone, and now AR Fox set alone with AEW. Not a big deal. It's nice to see our talent trades working. I think we get some money from that as well. I don't remember what the specifics are. I thought it showed up in alliances. It might show up in... Interesting. I thought you get the money if someone gets a loan out for you, but who knows. We have a show tonight. Let's go ahead and get to the booking. No, we are not going to be in Full Sail. Still would like to grow our size in terms of attendance, but it seems like we're constantly sitting at around just about 500 fans. It's difficult. So we're still stuck here in our NWA arena, which can more than accommodate that group, and it costs almost nothing for us. It's a little bit more expensive than this, but we get the full group. It's very important. It's a hotbed for us. So we're going to be staying here for a while, and hopefully we can start to build up some more of that fan base. It's hard for TV shows, especially ones with that very little importance, which our show is just not that important. We might start looking at doing monthly pay-per-views. It is something we might start to look at to really start boosting ourselves. We're kind of sitting at like 6 a year. I think we need to just start doing one a month, which will probably start in the new year in this save. It's going to cost a little bit more, but I think it's going to give us more gains in the long run. So we'll select this venue. No backstage incidents. Wow. Okay. Well, that gives us an opportunity to medal. Crazy Mary and Eli Drake still don't like each other. Eli Drake and Miro have some tension. What do we want to do here? Driven. Selfish. A lot of people are driven, which pretty much means that there's no chance of them really doing much here. Don't have a relationship, does not have a defined personality. Extremely unlikely to have any effect. I wish it showed you the most likely. Would be very helpful. Just like, here's people that have some type of relationship that would work. Really doesn't. Sure, let's try. Be nice to have a more options for more success. Just being able to see who's most likely to jive together, versus micromanaging everything. It's kind of boring. All right, we have a show to run. Another 2-hour power. At the end of the last show, we had Eddie Kingston kind of calling out Pillman, saying that he's going to be. It was just kind of interesting because he has the title shot, so like technically, he could just at any time just cash it in and sneak it out there. But like he kind of wants to just let him know that he's coming for him and that he'll cash it in at any time. And had defeated Miro, which we're hoping gives him a big popularity boost, because right now I think Eddie Kingston's set as like unimportant by the fans, and we need to boost him up in a big way. So giving him some big wins over people is going to be kind of our goal here. And we still have the last 2 of our tournament to run for our first round, which we're going to try to accomplish in the pre-show. And then after that, the next episode we'll have to determine a random trait that we're going to use to determine who's going to win each round for that round. And we'll have a spinner. We're going to bring back the old spinner and spin it around. All right, let's book this show. All right, guys, we got a packed show with a bunch of crap happening into it. So not much to say. We got, I think, through the entire first round finally of the Circle Squared tournament in this. and we are moving closer in our big ring tournament. So that's pretty good. And then we have a bunch of stuff going on in the show. Some storylines started, some storylines things happening, some stupid stuff a lot of stupid stuff happening. It's something. Let's go ahead and watch this episode of 2 Hour Power. It is certainly something to behold. So we start off with the final two of our random pre-show Circle Square tournaments. Again, coin flipped. I just have a little coin here that I use to determine the winner. In this situation, Chris Brooks defeats Jake Lee in 5 minutes by submission with an octopus stretch. I don't know either of these guys really too well, so I didn't really have a favor in this situation. Chris debuted with a great for his gimmick, and Jake Lee was adequate. Thankfully, the adequate one is leaving. 43 and 42, actually not too bad overall. Gives us a 44. We also have Mike Bailey and Jervis Cottonbelly. The coin was good to me as my buddy Jervis here defeated Mike Bailey in 7 minutes by pinfall with a Liger Bomb. That completes the first round of the Circle Square tournament. The match, though, not that great. Mike Bailey, definitely the better in-ring performer. Jervis only having a 29, and Jervis only getting an adequate in his old school face gimmick. If I wanted Jervis to win, what's going to be difficult is as we start to determine our random stats with the wheel next week. I don't think he's going to win out on anything, unfortunately. So I expect him to, this might be his only win, and that was just because of a coin. Is a real shame, but gets us a 38. It did get the boost from the color commentary. It was a work the crowd match, did not seem to work the crowd, so, well, we'll hopefully something in the main show boost them up a little bit. We start the show with a horrendous 18 segment, as Billy Corgan announces that there will be a major match tonight in the main event, something that may shock the world, that he's very excited about, and speaks to the new big things that are going to be happening in the NWA going forward. And he hopes Pillman is ready, because as more eyes are on the NWA, huge, bigger names are willing to come out to test their mettle in the National Wrestling Alliance scene, and that's what's going to happen tonight. There will be a title match. Pillman's title is on the line with a mystery opponent, and he doesn't have a lot of information. It's kind of actually unfair to just not be able to even scout who your opponent is. Unfortunately, though, Pillman just sucks on the microphone, and this kind of bombs here for us. Which does a lot better is our current general manager, Danhausen, who has a comedy segment in the back as he's sweating in his office, talking to the yammering and upset board of directors behind the scenes. And he goes, no, don't worry. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, I haven't. No, I haven't looked at the spreadsheets. I don't even know how to spread the sheets. Listen. Everything is fine in the National Wrestling Alliance. Danhausen has scouted a new team that will unite the fans. I made a new Stablehausen that will debut tonight. Ratings will go much higher. Yes. He groans as he gets off the phone. I need a drink, he exclaims as he pulls out a glass onto the table and then reveals from beneath the table a half a gallon of chocolate milk, which he pours. So, 53, not too bad. Saves us for the suck that was Corgan's announcement today. I'm worried about the segments this week, because it could really go either way. So we'll see. Hopefully the wrestling holds up, because the segments might be wildly different. Unfortunately, the wrestling in this does not hold up that much. We have an extremely short match. Natty Neidhart, our current women's champion, defeats Willow Nightingale in 4 minutes. I wanted to give Willow a match. She seemed off her game, though. Natty, pretty solid at a 63. Not much to say about it. It's a 34. It was a squash match. Gives Natty something to do, be on the show. Gives Willow something to do. She hasn't been on the show in a couple weeks. Afterwards, we continue our storyline with Crazy Mary, who is adamant that she will have a shot at Natty again and won't fail. She comes out to the ring to basically kind of intimidate her a little bit, holding a chain, but she's blindsided as, from leaping from the audience seats, Tessa Blanchard appears, the former NWA Women's Champion, and attacks Mary Dobson from behind, ends up throwing her into the ring post and busting her open. Gains some heat with the storyline, and it got the crowd hotter. Finally, they're motivated a little bit. Gets us a segment of 48. Not too bad. Could be worse, could be better. Pillman has an interview, and they're asking him about, do you know anything about this challenger? What's happening? He says that, he's happy to take on all comers because he really does believe in this belt and what it represents and what it represents about him. And, he's willing to take on any challenger at any time. And that's about it. A pretty simple babyface promo, kind of not showing any nerves, but having to acknowledge that, he's going to be in potentially for a fight. Overall does okay. 50 is pretty solid. We have one of our Big Rig Memorial Tournament matches. We got Matt Cross versus Ty Ray. It's pretty good. Matt Cross, always a very consistent performer. Hasn't had his time to shine in the show, really. Part of Eddie Kingston's Union, or the Kingdom, kind of going under a couple different names. Gets a 50. Got the crowd buzzing. It was a steal the show match. Both of them did very well. Ty Ray showing some strong performances for being a kind of enhancement talent or undercard member. Definitely going to have some potential in him in the future. Unfortunately, this is his stop on the tournament after Matt Cross defeats him in 7 minutes with pinfall. Yeah, not too bad. This. We have the new debuting stable from Danhausen, as several people that are in or formerly were in the Circle Square tournament show up clad in military gear and SWAT vests and face masks. We have Curtis Axel, John Silver, Microman donning his Kamonico outfit from CMLL, and Green Ant showing up together in matching uniforms, all looking at each other in disgust and saying, "This is ridiculous." And indeed it is. We unfortunately had some improvisation that hurt this. We should have had them all set the scripts. Again, I keep on forgetting that defaults now to no script, which is kind of stupid. Green Ant debuted his fun favorite gimmick because we actually was unsigned and came back, and he does great with that. Unfortunately, the segment is underperforming, and I give you the new Shield. Moving on to another of the Big Rig Memorial Tournament matches, we got Warhorse versus Matthias Breeze, aka Tyler Breeze. Matthias defeats Warhorse in 4 minutes very quickly by pinfall after interference from a ringside Ace Austin. The leader of Matthias's stable, the Smokin' Aces, is there to help aid Matthias into a win. Warhorse had a 37, Matthias had a 42. Not too bad. Matthias is getting better as a gimmick. And overall, the match was a 34, which is kind of underwhelming. It might have been a little too short, which might have hurt us a little bit. But Breeze moves on in the Big Rig Memorial Tournament. Afterwards, we have Sheamus in an interview talking about his attack on AR Fox last week, our Alliance champion. Before he can really get too far in his interview, Jacob Fatu shows up, angry and dripping with water in his hair for some reason. And he gets right into Sheamus's face. Fatu is about to speak into the microphone as he stares Sheamus down to dish at him a little bit. But Sheamus doesn't even wait and hits him with a side uppercut very quickly. The two break out into a massive brawl that handlers are there to try to contain but can't, overturning the announce table and kind of throwing the announcers to the side as they fight their way to the back. It seems maybe Fatu is aligned with AR Fox. Perhaps he just wants a shot at him. We really don't know because we didn't really have a chance to talk to him. But what's very clear is no matter what, if Sheamus wants to get to the Alliance Championship, it seems like he's going to have to go through Fatu first. Unfortunately, lacking anything interesting happening in this segment. I don't know how, but it did. We lost some heat for our storyline. Sheamus really shone, got the crowd hotter. Overall, 46, not the end of the world, but this is a bummer here. This match is better than I thought. Green Ant has an injury right now, so he has a limited involvement in this match, but the New Shield have a match against Josh Woods, Sean Studd, and War Machine. What a bizarre, crazy thing. It's subpar wrestling, but a decent reaction from the crowd. New Shield defeat the Misfit team here. John Silver gets the pin after Enziguri. I wish more matches ended with an Enziguri. But yeah, it's injury that Green Ant worked through took a big toll on it. John Silver seemed off his game, unfortunately, and the flow of the match was hurt because of the lack of involvement. Gave us a 39. New Shield get their first win. What a stupid thing. AR Fox out here now in an exhibition match against an enhancement talent, which used to be one of our old NWA roster members. But he quickly gets pinned in 5 minutes. AR Fox winning with a low main pain, and AR Fox had a 70, Corey Hollis had a 32, gives us a 60. Excellent performance by AR Fox, gives him another win, becoming a dominant Alliance champion. Afterwards, Danhausen comes back to his office after watching the New Shield debut with a smile on his face, very confident in his actions. And he finds Paul Pinky George III inside, packing up the desk's various knickknacks into a cardboard box. "What are you doing in my office, Hausen?" he queried. Pinky smiles at him as, "Oh, it's not your office anymore. Board brought me down here to relieve you of your post. We will be finding a new general manager who isn't looking to get us into a lawsuit with a major company." "Well, what does this mean for me?" "Well, I guess it means that you're fired, Hausen." And so ends the reign of Danhausen as our general manager. Gets us a 39. Don't know who is going to be the next GM. If you have an opinion of who should be the next general manager to NWA, let me know in the comments. I'm kind of curious. We'll see where it goes from here. It won't be Paul Pinky George or Billy Corgan. They're probably pretty much done with the show. But it would be interesting to see what your guys' thoughts are. Who should be the general manager? We're probably looking for a pretty straight-faced one that just kind of cuts it by the middle, but has strong microphone work so that when they are in an angle, they shine, which has been the issue with our general managers and authority figures in general, is that they just don't really have the oomph to make a segment shown a little bit like they should. So let me know who you think. I have a few ideas, but I would like to see what your thoughts and suggestions are as well. We got a match here with Nick Aldis versus Colt Cabana. Nick Aldis hasn't been on a show in a while since the kind of breakdown of his team, the board of directors, and he gets a quick win here. 9 minutes pinfall with a Tormentum. Has a pretty good showing of 49. Colt had a 45. Announcing quality lift in the match. We give Nick Aldis a win as he kind of re-debuts on Power after a pretty extended leave of absence, or at least leave of importance. And that re-debut quickly gets cut short as the Colt come out of the woodwork, because obviously they weren't too far behind if he was fighting Colt Cabana. Connor and Victor end up roughing up Nick Aldis pretty hard before grabbing him by the arms. Josephus watching from the sidelines. We kind of advanced 2 storylines, but not really, just because Connor and Victor are in another storyline. This gets a 36. It's not great. Again, part of the problem with the cult in general is that they have a very mismatched skill set here. This does a little bit better. We have Ascension holding the battered Aldous by the arms, kind of almost in a crucifix, being grabbed and dragged over to Josephus. And Josephus looks down at Nick Aldis and talks to him. And he's really talking through him, kind of talking to the audience a little bit, talking to his, and sermonizing, talking to his own worshippers, I suppose. Now the spokesperson for the Lord of Darkness, Pentagon Dark, and their more sinister Darwinian approach to their vision of salvation. Nick Aldis says to Nick Aldis, the former face of the National Wrestling Alliance, how you've fallen. In your prime, you were a threat, an idol to these fans to behold. But you've gotten lazy and complacent. You see, the worst sin of all is not avarice or greed or envy. It's being content. And so you formed a group around you to protect you, and now that it's all stripped away, you languish. For the future to continue, the past must die. Goodbye, Mr. Aldis. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. Aldis scowls at Josephus and struggles and squirms and says, I'm not dead yet, you prick. A British accent I will not attempt. He breaks free and attacks Josephus and holds his own against the entire Ascension, breaking away up to the ramp to try to break free of the group. Josephus looks on, one good shot having drawn blood from his mouth. It's slowly kind of forming and bubbling up. And he begins to form a sinister smile. A new target, perhaps, maybe a new candidate to integrate and convert into his group, but he clearly was happy with the outcome there. And we see a little fire in Aldis, something we haven't seen in a while. Perhaps the beginning of a face turn, perhaps the beginning of a resurgence of some sort. Be curious if what you guys think should happen to Nick Aldis here going forward. But it seems like the cult has set their eyes on him, and it seems that wherever he goes in the future, it seems like he needs to overcome the cult first. Gets a segment of 41, not bad. We gain heat for the cult storyline. Leads to our co-main event, Eddie Kingston taking on a bigger opponent than Miro. We have him versus Ryback, and Eddie Kingston, who, by the way, I didn't show you, went from unimportant to, in one win, a star. And our goal with this match is to hopefully maybe either cement him there or even push him higher. Eddie Kingston defeats Ryback in 10 minutes by pinfall with a back fist to the future. Kingston had a 60, Ryback had a 49. They had great chemistry, which is interesting. Segments of 58, not too bad. And it leads us to our main event with a mystery opponent for Brian Pillman with the belt on the line. And Pillman takes entrance and is absolutely shocked as wrestling legend Glenn Jacob appears, debuting as not legally distinct Kane with a C. He appears in a fireball with a slightly different mask, a little bit darker, a little bit different looking, just to kind of legally be different. Pillman was acting in the situation, again, defaulting to scripting, driving me absolutely insane. I keep on forgetting to click it. but yeah, he struggled there. But great debut, gets us a 56. His opponent is a not retired, but a legend from WWE, and he's going to be challenging for the NWA Championship. Pretty cool. Kind of an interesting get here to just do it, maybe a one-off, maybe more. We have Pillman Jr. versus Kane in a pretty solid match. It's a 60. It's good wrestling, great heat though. Pillman Jr. does overcome Kane in 11 minutes by pinfall with tornado DDT. They have great chemistry, which is fantastic. Kane getting stronger in his gimmick in the NWA. Has a 57 for Pillman, a 55 for Kane. We made it a little bit shorter of a... Oh, I forgot to make this a title defense. Oh well. We wanted to make it a shorter match just in case Kane couldn't go too long. Right now, he just was signed for a one-off deal, but he was available. Potentially might be a good GM as well, I was thinking, if we bring him back in. A little expensive, but huge star power. But what a cool random main event match. It gets us a 60. Hopefully, 57's not horrible. Overall, despite how bad the early show was, the end of it kind of brought us back in a little bit of a way. So it's not too bad. Coming out too here. Got a new team in CZW. Not that big of an issue. Power Report was excellent, so still went down very well. Pay raise request we'll have to deal with in a second. Should be fine. Oh dear, that's not good. I wonder if it's a... It's a one-night deal, or... Don't know. I hope you're not trying to steal our people. Hellcat. I think I can look at rival offer here. Exclusive written contract. Motherfuckers. AEW is trying to steal all of our people. Ain't that something? Well, we're going to have to stop that. That is an interesting turn of events to end this show on. We'll go ahead and accept the pay raise request here. Make Eddie happy. That is that's going to be a problem. It's something we're going to have to look at. We might be able to do exclusive writtens, but I doubt it. So we're in a situation here where we might be scouted out and lose our potential top draws. We're going to have to figure out what to do with that, but that sounds like a problem for another episode. So thank you guys for joining me for a rather long episode here. Pretty good one. A lot of things happening. Again, let me know who you think should be the new general manager, and obviously what we're going to do about this situation right here. Thank you all once again. See you next time.